nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. Welcome into a Freaky Friday edition of the Always Irish Show. Listen, man, change. I just kind of keep waiting for the Notre Dame carousel to slow down, and it just keeps going. So we got more changes to the Irish staff, other things that are hanging out there with GM that you're waiting to hear back on. It's just, I keep coming back to this over and over again. This is a weird period of time. I have this feeling of like wanting to just get things settled so we know what comes next. And instead it's just change. And you're kind of waiting, and then there's more change and whatever. So we're going to go over some of it. There's some mixed takes on Dealing leaving and what that means or doesn't mean or whatever. It's just an interesting in-between period, and there's just a lot to talk about. So welcome back. We got a few callers already. And so we're going to, I keep hearing Blanchard's not coming. And then I ask other people and they say that it's coming. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what backboard you're reading where you got the inside scoop, but I've been told, oh yeah, he's coming. It's a done deal. And then I come here and they're saying it's not a done deal. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe anymore. Dr. John, good to see you. I'll go to the callers soon. We're gonna get you guys in early. And so I don't know. Every time I reach out, send a couple texts about, okay, I'm waiting on this Blanchard thing. I hear, oh, yeah, it looks like it's going to be fine. And then I come here and it says he's staying. This is a lot of unsettling things. So I don't know, whatever. I'm taking some shots here. I see a couple people taking shots at me already for being like, oh, the whole episode's dedicated to Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's in your head. Bro, any of you guys want to be a producer on this one-man show and fill all the off-season stuff? It's news. It's breaking news, and I have a couple of thoughts on it. Give me a freaking break. It's the off-season. You want to produce the show? Send me a bunch of segments for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Send me a bunch of segments you want. We'll do it that way if you want to be a producer. Jeezy, for Pete's Dragon, you can't even bring up the news? It's big news. Steven says, I'll have shots with you, John. Never take shots at you. That's very different. I appreciate that. I like that a lot better. I like it a lot better. But I mean, give me a break. You're in the middle of no land here with content. Like, there isn't that much going on. A guy wants to give an update on a big news story in college football, and it's just like, oh, look at you giving the whole show to Brian Kelly. I ain't giving that guy the whole show. I actually defend him a little bit in what I'm going to say. I got another situation I need to go over. We'll do that first and get it out of the way. See what you guys think. Then we'll go to the calls. And we'll see how long we're going to go here this morning. I don't know, man. I just want Notre Dame land settled is kind of my feeling. And it just doesn't feel like it's settled. And I just, that causes like, not like I'm freaking out, but just like this little uncertainty. I just kind of want to know who's with us and who's against us so we can move on to the next thing. Yeah, Virginia McCaskey died at the ripe young age of 102. That's double what I'm going to get to. And at this rate, double what I'm going to get to. Maybe now her dork kids can sell this organization for a couple billion to somebody that knows how to run a football operation. You have made your money. You are rich. The organization's literally worth billions of dollars. Flip it, man. Those McCaskey kids, flip it, because none of you are good at running a football operation. And now that mom died, it's the time. Cash in the chips for a billion, not million, billion, and go be rich. Let somebody run that team that knows how to run football. She had 11 kids they can't afford to keep. Dude, billions is what they could flip it for. Edith, does Notre Dame win a natty in our lifetime? I mean, I would have said it doesn't look promising, but the run you made this year where 86 guys in the 2 deep were injured and you made it this far makes me think that the impossible could be possible. I can't be the only one that thought that, right? But like this run made you be like, geez, we were all banged up and you made it that far. There is light at the end of the tunnel. All right, let me get through what I want to get through because there's a bunch of calls today. I never know what's going to happen with these calls in the off season, you guys. Sometimes there's like 2 or 3 calls and it's just a low day and there isn't a bunch of news. And other times there's a handful. I don't know. We just take it as we get it. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni Boy out as well. Notifications. And then wait, you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want it, you can get it. If you don't want to see my face, who's going to blame you for that one? The call-in lines. I'm being kind of goofy today. 312-988-15. Dialed up. Tell Uncle Johnny all you've heard and seen. Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by SI. Please read all about it. Patreon.com/. Always Irish. He the former captain. He the leading tackler. It's Mike Gouldsby, myself. Coach Jared Clark. We're breaking it all down. Look at this. SPF. What's going on with ND? Coach is leaving is normal, but the replacement has been head scratchers, and now the Texas Tech beat out ND for GM. I have not seen that that's confirmed. I've looked around. The people I talked to didn't say that that's over, but it is taking some time. I don't know. Look at this from the Dong. The Dong, first thing in the morning. Whoa. Brent Musburger, 2012. Whoa. If you're old like me, you'll know exactly what I'm referencing when they zoom in on the camera while we're getting beat 748 to -40. And he goes, whoa. If you're old like me, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It was hilarious. I was furious, but it was funny when he did that. Whoa. Here's the deal. Serious question. Blueberry muffins or chocolate chip muffins? I'm going to have a food take. Maybe that's what we need to. Friday foods. Johnny needs to do the Friday foods. And we do one thing where you throw me a food or two and I break it down. Here's the deal with this blueberry or chocolate chip muffins. It may surprise you guys. I'll eat a blueberry muffin, but it can't have too many blueberries. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the proportion matters here. And I'm talking about chocolate chip and blueberry. I enjoy both of those muffins. That may surprise some of you. I enjoy a blueberry or a chocolate chip muffin. Here's the deal, though. The ratio of just the regular white cake part to the chocolate chips or the blueberries has got to be appropriate. If you underdo it, it isn't going to hit. But if you overdo it, it doesn't hit either. You ever get a blueberry muffin and it's 98% blueberries and there ain't no muff? It's 98% blueberries and no muff on the muffin. Ruins it. Your mouth's full. It's like I'm eating a pile of berries. What do I look like? An animal in the woods? Do I look like an animal in the woods? It's all blueberry that you gotta. I was just thinking of it, Tom. The movie Casino, where De Niro's all mad because in the hotel he's running, each blueberry muffin, some of them are loaded with blueberries, some of them have none. No. No, Edith, that's inappropriate in the morning. Very inappropriate. I'm not reading it on air. I'm not reading it on air. Funny, but inappropriate. That's all I'm going to say is the proportionality here matters. You could really overdo it where it's all chocolate and no muff, or all blueberry and no muff. You got to balance it out. It's all about the proportion and the ratio. And so that's my reaction to that. All right. Here's the first thing first. You guys are hilarious on a Friday. Let me do a couple chats. I'm going to do my original little thing I need to get out here, and then we'll go to the callers. We got a bunch of them, and let me see. We got a handful of callers. I'm going to do a 2-minute thing. I'll go to the callers. I'll come back to the things on my list. I'll give the callers the run here. And Pat, you guys are trying to get me in trouble, and it ain't going to work on a Monday or a Friday. I don't even know what day it is. $5 from Callahan Auto Parts. I don't get leaving after like 1 to 2 years. Only proves you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I don't know, man. I just think this in the modern era, things are going to be coming and going. And I just think you're going to see a lot of movement from now on. Here's the other thing, man. It is a pain in the ass to be a college football coach. The recruiting is relentless. There's always something to do. There's no time off. It would not surprise me if more guys want to start going to the NFL. It's just a different kind of work, like life. So I don't know. I don't know. $10 holler from Eric over at the Ohio Pod. Donation for John to get that LSU family on the show. Talk about BK. That'd be a must-watch interview. I don't think he's Brian Kelly. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of the Always Irish show. Can verify that. I can verify that. Maybe he'll start talking to me on his burner Twitter account again. We'll see. But I don't know. He's got bigger fish to fry. All right. I'm just going to go over this one thing, and then I'll give it to the callers, and then I'll come back. And, oh, man. This is bad, you guys. This is really, it's not great. It's not great. Here's the deal. Yeah, I didn't see that Joel Klatt, Ryan Day interview. Did he say something weird or whatever? And even if he did, who cares? He won the championship. Like, that's the thing, man. People could rip anybody you want. If you got the trophy, who cares what anybody says at that point, right? Like, it's just kind of, that's how I see it. All right, here's the thing. So the other day, I get a notification that I have a package at the front door. Okay. And so it's like, whatever. And there's one spot where they put all those packages. And I go out there, and it's a big, not big, but like a brown box. And it says to Always Irish John Kennedy, but there's no return address. And all it has on it is a company's name that I do not recognize, like a shipping company, packaging company, delivering company, whatever. So there is no return address, but it just says it's shipped from some company. I have no idea what it is. I've ordered stuff online, but that isn't it. It just wasn't the package that I knew it would be in. So I open it up. Look at what this is. Look. Somebody sent me this Ohio State Buckeyes candy. Do you see this? Who's sending me this? Look at this. So this is what somebody sends me. These Buckeyes out of nowhere. Ultimate son of a buck moment. Making me relive all this stuff. I only know like 3 Ohio State people that have my address. I thought it would be Eric. I reached out to Eric. He's laughing on the phone from the Ohio Pod. He's laughing on the phone. It wasn't me, John, but he's laughing. Ha, ha, ha. Having a good time. It isn't him. He's saying it isn't him. There's only like one or two other people that I know that like Ohio State that it could possibly be if it isn't Eric that sent me stuff before. But what do you think I'm going to do? Eat that stuff? It's probably poisoned with ohionide. I've heard of internalizing. Look at these. I've heard of internalizing a loss, but not like this. I ain't eating this. Ohionide. Son of a buck. So anyways, that happened. And I like the concept of peanut butter and chocolate blended. Who doesn't? You ever heard of Reese's? Underrated. Reese's Pieces, by the way. Reese's Pieces, by the way, underrated. Of all the Reese's family, we'll talk about the eggs, you know, for Easter and all this stuff. I'm telling you, man, Reese's Pieces are underrated. John, give them to your girl. What do you think? I want to poison my family? Nick! Ohionide. I think it's a real thing. I don't want to eat nothing like this. No, I'm scared. And the last thing I'm going to do is eat it on the air and stroke out on the air when it all catches up to my brain. Somebody sent me Ohio State candy, and I ain't happy about it. Reese's Pieces are delicious, by the way. They say about M&Ms, they melt in your mouth, not in your hand. Well, that's BS. You ever put them in your hand when your hand's hot? They melt all over. You got a rainbow in your hand. You got Lucky Charms in your hand, a whole colorful rainbow. What do you mean they melt in your mouth, not in your hand? They melt in my hand. But Reese's Pieces, they got that shell. Ooh, baby. You know what I'm talking about. You put about a half dozen of them bad boys in there like a Red Man chew, and you let that thing melt in your mouth and it's crackly and crispy. I'm telling you what, I will go to bat for Reese's Pieces as one of the most underrated candies there is. All right. Now that we did that, let's go to the calls. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. We got a bunch of regulars. This should be good. I may be close to figuring out who sent me the Buckeyes. Let's try this call and see if maybe we could get some answers. And that's the only reason I'm doing this. Let's see if I get this right. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. We got some classic callers here. 937, are you responsible for this?
Yes, I am. Happy Valentine's, John. I wanted to send you a little Valentine's gift. Unfortunately, I bought it through Amazon, and they didn't allow me to put a little message in there. I wanted to thank you for the season and send you a little something from Ohio, but through Amazon, it wouldn't let me, and it was like an extra $10 to do it through the website. So their website. So that's an Anthony Thomas chocolate. It's a Columbus company, and yeah. So I just wanted I know you like peanut butter and chocolate.
Man, I got to tell you, I thought maybe it was Eric over at the Ohio Pod because he sent me an Ohio State hat and some things before. The other thought was that it might have been you because I remembered you were nice enough to send me a Christmas card. And then I remembered you had my address. So then once I saw that number this morning, I'm like, okay, I think I'm figuring it out now, man. Very, very clever, but I don't want this Ohionide.
Well, it's great content for today, and I'm just really excited that you received it. You received it a few days early. I was actually going to let you know before it got there.
No, this was way better.
It was today or tomorrow.
I think this is better. This is better because I just totally like this was way better. And then when I accused Eric of it, and then I called, he called me, dude. He called me and he's like, what are you texting me about? Because I'm like, I got a mystery package in the mail that I think it might be dangerous. Do you have anything to do with it? He called me and he's like, what are you talking about? And I told him, he was dying laughing. He's like, I wish I thought of that, but it wasn't me. So everybody have a laugh at old Johnny Boy's expense. But I do appreciate it. That's a nice little troll. Good job.
Yeah. Well, as another Al Nussberger would say, to the victor goes the spoils. So I thought I'd send you some of the spoils. Real quick, I just wanted to also comment a shout out. There's a guy in my office. He knows you. And I was talking to him. He's a big Notre Dame fan, and he went to the game. And he says, "Oh, I know John. I listened to a show." And I'm like, "Do you know who I am?" And he's like, "No." You're Sean. And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually John's favorite Buckeye fan. That's how I normally answer the call when I call you in." He's like, "That's you?" His name is Tim Kernan. He said that you helped him out a little bit with some things, but he's met you at your tailgate.
Yeah, man.
Tim Kernan. So
dude, just
throwing a shout out there for him.
Dude, it's a small world. I'm hearing of a lot of people that are like something comes up and then somehow somebody knows of me that I don't even know that I know. Like maybe that shows we're getting some reach finally, man. I appreciate it. The word's getting out for better or worse. So really creative, man. I got to give you credit for sending me that. It's a little troll, but it's nice and harmless. Really creative, and I appreciate you thinking of me. I genuinely mean that, even though I'm going to call the hazmat team to get rid of these things.
Hey, real quick, I want to make one other comment. Two comments real quick. The first one is, man, it is crazy the coaching carousel that's out there. I mean, Ohio State and Notre Dame losing all these coordinators, all these coaches.
Yeah.
I don't blame Chip Kelly though for going to the NFL. He's tripling his salary apparently. So going from $2 million to $6 million to be an offensive coordinator. I mean, I would take that, even though I'm a huge fan of the team. Yeah. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Do you agree with me? Do you think you're going to see more of this stuff? The way the players move around. It feels like you're seeing coaches move around. And then I'm telling you, man, I think more guys with an opportunity are going to jump to the NFL. It's just a different work grind week to week. And it doesn't surprise me to see some guys looking into that. But what do I know?
I think you're right, but I think it's only going to be for the teams that the coaching staffs that make it to like the last 2 weekends. Yeah. I think that's where you'll see most of the move. I don't think you'll see a lot of movement if your team goes like 8-4 and doesn't make the playoffs. And I think those teams are pretty safe. But like Ohio State, nobody was thinking that all these coaches were going to leave, but then they win it. And then it's like, well, do we want to stick around? Even though we're going to have a little bit of a rebuild next year. Do we want to stick around? And it's apparently not. So, and then also they're getting great offers. I mean, our defensive coordinator, who was already a top paid defense coordinator, they were going to offer him money to be the highest paid defensive coordinator in all of college football. And then Penn State and also I believe USC offered him like crazy over like almost $3.5 million or something per year. And it's just like, well, you can stay here for 2.75 or you can move for 3.5. And he was from Pennsylvania originally, so he went to Penn State, and then Chip's tripling his salary. So yeah. I don't even blame him at all.
And here's the other thing. The other thing is, if you win the championship, it stings a lot less to lose your coordinator. So like that's the thing. I see all the time people chatting like, nobody freak out in Notre Dame land. When you're a good team, that's what happens. People come for your guys. Yeah, I totally understand that. But it would be nice to win the championship and lose your guys rather than get to the end and not get there and then lose all your best coaches. And that's going to be the challenge for Notre Dame is nobody's open to regression. So how do you backfill these roles, figure out the GM thing, all this stuff, and then not skip a beat and get better and not stagnate or regress? That's going to be the big challenge for Freeman in year 4. That's going to be the big challenge.
I think the other key though is also not to have a Michigan where you lose your head coach. I think like also, I don't know if you saw yesterday, Ryan Day signed a $12.5 million deal, which I just can't believe the amount of money that these coaches are making. But $12.5 million deal to stick around for another 7 years per year.
Hey man, you win it. You win the championship, you win the championship, and everything opens up for you, man. That guy went from a month ago, people trying to fire him, and now he's getting this. Like life changes fast. If you win a championship, your entire life changes. Your credibility changes. Everything changes when you get that skin on the wall, man. It's the real deal.
And I'm also thinking though of Marcus Freeman. Like being able to keep him is just going to be so key for Notre Dame. I think moving forward, because I think he's a very unique coach. I think he's really good for the school and just fits so well there. Honestly.
Yeah, it's
man. And
yeah.
then my go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know what Freeman's going to end up the long term. Maybe he burns his energy out and then ends up in the NFL or whatever. It would just be really nice if he accomplished the ultimate in Notre Dame and then went and did something else. That's all I have to say about it.
Right. One other thing, I completely agree with your analysis on the quarterback situation that you put out yesterday.
Did that make sense? I'm not a genius, but
100%.
Dude, I'm not a genius. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm not a talent evaluator. I'm just a regular guy sitting there going, I really just like the flexibility the mobile guy gives you for every play to turn into another one. That's like the simplest level of analysis I could offer, but it's true. Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% correct. And I mean, just look at the Buckeyes. Like you were talking about, you want a great offensive line and then unbelievable receivers like Ohio State to be able to, to maybe think about not having a guy that moves around. But like Eric will attest to this too. Like we hated McCord because he was so immobile and couldn't extend plays.
Yeah.
And then, basically we kind of felt similar about Stroud in season until the bowl game. He didn't really do anything as far as moving around. And, just having a guy that can just extend the play with Will Howard this year, and you saw it in the Notre Dame game. It was such a difference maker.
Yeah.
The guy being able to get 5-6 yards when it's right there in front of you. I 100% want a guy that can run the ball a little bit. I mean, he doesn't have to be like the best athlete on the field.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm asking.
But he just can't be a statue where the play is dead. Yeah, where if it's 3rd and 7, the protection breaks down. It's not a guaranteed nightmare. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Yeah. So
he doesn't have to be a Braxton Miller, but just has to be or a guy like Terrell Pryor or somebody like that. But just a guy that can get the 5-6 yards, put his head down, and can take a hit and get the yards needed.
Yeah.
100%. I would not move away from that in the college game unless they, make it unless they change the rules, in some way. I just think having a dual threat quarterback that's, fairly accurate passer, but it also can get you those yards when needed on the ground. It's just such a weapon in college.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Hey, listen, I want to thank you. I mean, that was a clever thing to send me. I do appreciate you thinking about me. And you knew I was going to make content out of it. Like, how I operate. There's no way I was going to miss that opportunity to yell about that. And Ohio-nide is pretty damn good. I'm glad I came up with that one, by the way. So I thought that was pretty clever myself, but I got to give you credit. That was creative, and it almost worked out better that there was no, because it made me sit and think about the few Ohio State people I know and who must have said it, man. So that was clever, and I do appreciate the camaraderie there.
Hey, there's one Buckeye for every Notre Dame point scored against us, and then you can give one to your daughter.
Oh, man. Dude, this is rough. This is rough, brother. Hey, I really do mean it, though. Thank you. It's all good and all fun. I appreciate you thinking of me, man. Thanks a lot for always being a part of this show, and have a good weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Have a good one. Yep. Go Bucks. Talk to you later.
Take care. I'm not saying that. If you're on old, you're going to be on the air. That's for darn sure. Here's the deal, man. I'm going to do my annual thing right back to the phones. I'm going to do my annual little rant, and it isn't even a rant. I am a firm believer, and I have been my whole life. Super Bowl parties are among the most overrated parties in the world. It's right up there with New Year's Eve. Not the waste management rant. I have old school golf values, and I, dress nice, like always dressing nice on a golf course, etiquette. Like I grew up old school golf. This whole get wasted and go streaking by the sand trap is not for me. I'm too old, whatever. Super Bowl parties they're overrated. They're really overrated. You got, one is it's on a Sunday. That's a bad day to drink and tie one on, and then everybody's got to work. You got to redo that. Make it so it's a national holiday the day after. That's BS. And so I don't like that. But then it's just for the biggest football game in the year. You want me to be in mixed company with a bunch of people that don't care about the game and they care about the halftime thing. And then you're there and everybody's dipping their greasy hands in the chip dip bowl. People are talking the whole time. Who can enjoy football with all that going on? Parties and football are separate to me, other than a tailgate I'm hosting. I don't do it. I just don't like it. Too many people that don't like football, but they're doing it for that day. And I don't like it. Overrated. Make this on a Saturday night so people can actually hang out and not have to go to work in the morning. Why is it on a Sunday? Let people chill out. Can we get your drink? It's the what? The one where I got in trouble in Bloomington, Illinois? No, it's embarrassing. And so, no, you cannot. But I suffered the long wrath of the law in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm blaming my brother for that problem. John is the most unsocial person I know. Eric, that is the realest thing you've ever. I do not like people. I do not like crowds. I do not watch any athletic event I care about in the mixed presence or in public. It's very uncomfortable for me to be at games. The going to Notre Dame games is very uncomfortable for me. It was like $150, Roger. And I gotta like be normal and like stand in a crowd. I don't like it. I don't do well with it. And for me, outside of the tailgates or being in Notre Dame Stadium, Notre Dame football is not a social event for me. Only my immediate family was over for the championship game because it was my parents and my brother and my uncle. Obviously, like immediate family had to be together for that. But Willie, it was bad, man. It was bad, but whatever. It all worked out. There's no arrest. Johnny doesn't have a record or nothing, but I had a problem with the police, a bad interaction. So that's what I'm saying, dude. I do not associate football and like group fun. Those are separate. Football's too serious for me that it's just, let's all get together and dip our hand in the chip and talk about anything but football. No. Swan Dong, stop. You might be onto something. Stop, Swan Dong. When Always Irish's brother says, don't wait in that 80-person line at the bathroom at this bar. Do what I do. Go out the side door into the alley, and there's a little nook there where nobody will see you. John goes in there, and it's flashlights all over like I'm on Cops. The second I do it, there's flashlights all over. John's busted. Unbelievable. I blame my brother for that. Every Thursday when we go to this bar, there's an 80-person line at the bathroom, but I go outside door and go in the alley, and there's a little nook there, and nobody sees you. Yeah, I do. Yeah, John doesn't want. Whoop, and I'm on Cops. Bad boys, what you gonna do when Always Irish runs from you? Black and mild in my mouth. You know, I'm 22 years old or whatever, black and mild in my mouth. I'm in that alley. Whoop! And the guy goes, now that you started, you can't stop now. And you got the lights on me. Everybody's looking at me like I'm a fugitive. Yeah, look at this. At least he admits it. My brother, I set you up. He did. But you know what he did to make up for it? When you get in this sort of trouble, you have to go to like a class where apparently they teach you how to act like a civilized person or whatever. And it's like in the town. Well, I didn't live in Bloomington. I was just there visiting. My brother signed up as me and went and did the course and made it work to get it cleaned off my thing because he felt bad that he set me up. That was a classy move by my brother. Blanchard is definitely out. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Anybody else you find is going to be another Chad. And I ain't here for another Chad. I want a Blanchard. Literally and figuratively another Chad. You know how that's like a slang term to like insult basic regular white guys? Like, you're such a Chad. That's a thing online. Chad is literally a Chad. Chad is literally a Chad. Oh, why did you go to USC? It just means more. Well, if it meant more, maybe more than 14 people would go to a home game. What do you mean it means more? You have 15 people that go to the games. Chad is the ultimate Chad, bro. It's really like, he's bugging me with all these lame little things he's saying. It just means more. And I've always loved USC. When I was a little boy, I used to see Lendell White and Reggie Bush run around, and I've always wanted it. Whatever. It just means more. Wow, real original, bro. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. Maybe down south, it just means more. If it meant more than 5 people would show up to USC home games, so he could go away. I know who Tim Dillon is, kind of that chubby comedian, right? Anyways, whatever, man, whatever. I don't like this Blanchard news. I wanted something different. I didn't want another dork Chad running this. I wanted a badass in cutoffs that was there to talk business. Not dress up in a leprechaun outfit like I do for Halloween, but get serious about business. I wanted it to be that guy. I don't want another dork Chad. I'm ready to move on for that. Get more serious in this program. I don't know what's going on today, but I'm getting pumped up. Let's go back to the calls. Chicago's very own Tom Frawley. What's going on, buddy?
John, you are all wound up today, my friend.
I don't know what's getting into me. I don't know what's going on, but I'm ramped up on a Friday, Tom.
Let's talk about the quarterbacks.
Okay.
From yesterday, your little clip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about dual threat. I'm telling you that, we're going to see. There's enough talent on that roster right now to have that dual threat quarterback. I'm excited to see it, and it's going to be developed at Notre Dame, which is great. Not coming from the transfer portal, we're going to get to see it happen live and in person. And they say there's enough talent there to do it. I mean, if you look back, we haven't had a real dual threat quarterback that can really take the team to the next level in many years. They've toyed with some good quarterbacks, and then oftentimes when they've had a decent quarterback like Brady Quinn, who set a lot of records, they didn't have a complete team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first time that convergence is about to happen. When you've got a supporting cast on both sides of the ball, and now you just hand the keys over.
Yeah, dude, Tom, am I missing anything though? Like when I recorded that episode, when I recorded that and I was uploading it and getting it ready to post, I'm like, dude, am I oversimplifying this too much? The way I'm looking at, like, Tom, the way I see it in my mind is every play could turn into 2 plays with an emergency backup lever to pull if a guy can move a little bit. And unless you give me Ohio State's wide receivers and a great offensive line, then I would prefer to have that because it's the ultimate bailout. And but I thought, am I missing something here in the equation to where maybe I'm just oversimplifying this whole dynamic? And I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's just how I see it.
No, you're not. And I understand, because people are already talking about it. And I've seen it on some other shows and talking about going into playing Texas A&M and Miami the first 2 games, and or Miami and Texas A&M. You want to hand the keys over to a rookie quarterback. Well, you're going to have to. I mean, I mean, we know what we've got in Angeli, right? So I want them pedal to the metal. Let a kid make a mistake. You know, with the receivers they've got coming back, with a better than average tight end room, and the running backs, that's enough support right there to play a better than conservative style game against Miami and Texas A&M. If we're looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we've got to see how the spring breaks out. But you know, this coaching carousel that we're talking about. I just did a deep dive, and I looked at Nick Saban's the coaching carousel under Nick Saban in his time just at Alabama, and he went through 5 defensive coordinators and 9 offensive coordinators in his time in Alabama.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Guys are going to go places. I mean, and let's face facts. Do you, in this day and age, with the transfer portal and the the NIL money, which is still relatively new, do you want to manage an 18 to 22-year-old kid that's making more money than pros do in the first 3 years?
Yeah.
And still have to recruit? I mean, that's a tall order.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
You know, this is all.
Tom, the only thing is that keeps coming in my brain is everybody brings up Kirby losing all his guys and Saban too. It would be really nice to get a championship and lose your best assistants. You know what I mean? Like, that's always my reaction is like, I get that it's normal when you have success, but that's why you got to get a trophy. So then if you lose your best guys, at least the consolation prize is we got to the very top. Like, but that's just the way it is. I get it.
John, it still boils down to the recruiting.
Yeah.
That high school recruiting, it's you still got to have the Jimmies and Joes, as they say.
Yeah.
And if he's plugging in, look at the way that Freeman's been able to evaluate talent so far in a short period of time. You look at kids like Leonard Moore, right? Man, was he a 3-star?
I believe so.
I don't look at the star ratings. They mean nothing to me because they're so subjective. Unless you've got a bona fide 5-star like that receiver from Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith. I mean, that's the kid's off the charts. But you go back to Louis Smoji, his third rule. A third's gonna be stars, a third's gonna be adequate, and a third are gonna bust out. That's just the way it is. So finding those right fits to Notre Dame is what's still the biggest hurdle, and I think Freeman's got it figured out. So let's just give him the credit. It's all going to boil down to him because it does matter. It still matters who the head coach is, and I think they want to play for him.
Yeah, it's it looks like something's just posted. It looks like Blanchard's going to stay in Texas. So Notre Dame's still on the mission for a GM. They spent a lot of time on this guy and with this guy to not land him, and now whatever. I don't want another Chad. I'm ready to try something different. So I don't know where they pivot now. Brady Quinn, that'd be Brady Quinn would be about the only name that I think could save everybody getting excited about Blanchard being told he was great to only not land him. So I don't know where you go now. I don't know what the market is for GMs. I honestly don't know.
I don't either. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's that's a small world. That coaching world. Now, Bavacqua. Here's the thing. I really trust Bavacqua here, and he's gonna. He's in consort with Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman knows. He's told him what he wants in the coaching fraternity. Who's there? who's able to do that type of job. And I'm sure Bavacqua has people in his circle of influence. Look, I trust these two guys.
Yeah.
So we just have to wait and see now. Now, the other question is, did they pick a date on when spring practice is supposed to start?
I haven't seen that. They moved
the Blue Gold game up?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I haven't either. Okay. If anybody knows, let us know, please, because it's going to be interesting. Usually you'd have at least another, 10 days to 2 weeks of physical therapy time and relax time. But these kids are going right back at it,
Yeah.
So it's legit. It'll be here before we know it. And I don't know, what are you still planning on doing the Blue Gold game, John?
Yeah, we're going to definitely have a tailgate. I'm still trying to figure out all the details about everything surrounding it. But yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to be propped up in the parking lot early in the morning. It'll probably be cold. I'll be ready.
Cold. One of the coldest days I ever spent was at a Blue Gold game. Oh my God.
Telling you, man.
It was the day before my daughter's first Holy Communion, and it was 32 degrees at kickoff, and the lake effect snow came in. It was 17 degrees by halftime.
Yeah, it's you never know what you're gonna get, and when it's this early, you really don't know what you're gonna get. So, Tom, no. I don't know, man. We're gonna wait and see. The Blanchard thing, it just started dragging out, and you're like, I don't know about this. So now you got to figure something else out, and Freeman's got to go to the next move here. Tom, enjoy the Super Bowl and have a relaxing weekend. And when spring ball gets cranked up, the excitement will rise up again, my friend.
You know what I'm going to do in lieu of the Super Bowl? I'm going to watch the USC Notre Dame game, and I'm going to watch old Notre Dame games.
There you go.
Careless about
I know.
I'll see you later. Go Irish.
Have a good one, Tom. Chicago's very own. Adam Dowling, if you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. Adam Dowling, John Kennedy for GM. John Kennedy does not have the personality or the demeanor to manage that job. A part of life, it's like the priest in Rudy, man. You got to understand the gifts the good Lord has bestowed upon you. I do not. I know myself well enough to know I do not have the temperament it takes to properly manage that job. I don't have the patience. There's just I don't have the patience. I don't like being jerked around. I would not do well having to flirt with people's entourages to keep them interested. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It isn't for me. I've been quoting John Bryce from Football Scoop a lot as a good resource on information. If he's saying that Blanchard's staying, now you got to go do the next thing. But when I say I don't want a Chad, I literally mean I don't want somebody like Bowden, but I also don't want just a Chad of a beta stereotype printed out, normal, boring white dude. I don't want this. That's the Chad. He's an ultimate Chad. BK for GM. He was kind of operating like a GM for a long time, kind of hands off on the football and just pick and choose where to involve himself. All right, you know what time it is. 10-second timeout. We're going right back to the calls. Dude, I'm struggling, man. It was hot. It was cold. It was cold. It was hot. Kent Jackson's here. Well, it's the Big Slow. Remember when The Rock said that to the Big Show? Does anybody remember that? When The Rock said that to the Big Show, he said, well, it's the Big Slow. And that's hilarious. I like rhyming. You all know that. Kent, if you just got here, this is what came in the mail to my house, bro. This is not cool, dude. Look at this. Somebody sent me these poisonous, it's full of one of the ingredients. What does it say? Milk, sugar, cocoa butter, cyanide. Yeah, awesome, man. Thanks. Son of a buck. Back in 10 seconds. Going back to the calls. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. I'm being weird today. Well, it's the big slow. Son of a buck. All right, I'm back. Johnny definitely has a problem. 415, make it come alive. What's going on?
Good morning, John. How are you?
I don't know. I'm being goofy today. I don't know why. I'm in a weird mood.
Oh, well, I have a pretty good idea. I mean, every single time we turn on the computer or the phone or you get some kind of intel and somebody hits you up, and next thing you know, everything's changing.
Dude, it's just, do you relate with me just kind of waiting for things to, I just kind of want to know, who are we going to battle with? Who's in and who's out so we can round up the troops and get ready for spring ball. I just kind of want it all settled. And then the longer the Blanchard thing was out there, the more you're like, what's going on here? Like nothing's happening. And then I don't know, how big of a loss is McCullough? I've seen mixed reviews on that. Some people are saying that's the easiest position to coach up or whatever, but then you ask about the recruiting, you ask about the relationship parts. Like, what do you make of it?
Yeah, okay. Well, first of all, as far as the GM search goes, I feel like we're sitting in the doctor's office waiting for the doctor to come back. And it's like, man, this can't be good because it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
waiting and waiting
Yeah.
and waiting. And it's like, starting to get nervous.
You're like, bro,
sweaty,
how long did you have to look at my x-ray, man? I don't like this.
Exactly. How many people are out there talking about this? So
yeah.
It's very unnerving. And now I guess right now did you just see something that he is staying at Texas Tech? Is that correct?
That's the word on the streets.
Okay. I mean, and who knows? That could also just be fluff because of the fact that maybe it's just taking so long that they're just assuming. I mean, who knows, right?
I know.
Actually,
man, John Bryce
right?
is he's one of the main guys I go to for this stuff. If he's saying it, it sounds like he's got a bunch of kids and Texas money and is going to stay. So I don't know.
There you go. Okay. So if you have intel like that, then there you go.
Yeah.
So then it puts us right back at square one because again, and just like I was saying, whatever that was a week ago about when we were looking for the new OC, right? And we're, trying to get this guy from Utah and everything. And bam, we got him at a hockey game or basketball game or whatever it was. And next thing you know, he gone, and it's just like,
it was,
and here we are again, right?
I got to say, though, that did result in one of the prouder moments in Always Irish history when Jack Swarbrick publicly stated he didn't appreciate people in their basements reporting the Notre Dame news. It made my day. I couldn't believe he said it. He was like, I'm getting sick of these people acting like they know what's going on from the reporting from their basement. It made me feel really good inside.
That's definitely going to be up there with the Brian Kelly one, and I think the two of them together are just priceless.
Yeah,
so you're doing your job. Man.
That's funny.
As far as the running backs coach goes, I do see it as a bigger deal, and the reason why I see it as a bigger deal is you touched on it. You said the relationships. That guy has been putting in time and effort and energy into the program to the point where he's not just the running backs coach; he was the associate head coach. So he has made the relationships both in the front office with the other coaches. They believe in him. They trusted in him, as well as the running backs themselves. He's recruiting all these guys and working with them and getting them to believe into his system and how he's going to progress them into becoming stars. And also at the same time, that on an individual level, but then also at the same time, bringing it to the team aspect. And they're all working together. And that was one that I think, with, how do I put this? With Golden, right? We kind of knew that there was a chance he was going to be going back to the NFL or somewhere. It just felt that way. It was just like, okay, like he's done what he's going to do. And there was some rumblings, and I'm sure that they were, kind of prepping for it. When it came to this was so abrupt. To me, I don't know if anybody, at least I wouldn't know, but maybe someone on the inside had a good idea that there was something going on, so they started their search a little early. But it was so abrupt, at least to us, that now it's like, okay, so now we got to get a running backs coach as well, who's going to have to, step in and be that leader and that go-to person for these kids, as well as fit into the system and all that. And again, John, it just keeps going back to what I've been talking about, about getting everything established, especially starting with the leadership, and then you work your way down, and then you can work on QB and all that other thing.
Yeah.
And here we are again, so having to fill a hole.
Yeah, it's just, listen, it's easy to say after the year Notre Dame had, but the frustrating way it ended, it's easy to tweet like, well, we'll just bring the band back next year and we'll be right back at it and all that. That's a lot easier said than done, because you knew you were going to have some personnel changes with the players. You knew all of the staff wasn't going to come back, because that rarely happens for any team. Like, that's the part of it that hurts, is it's like, it reinforces when you do make a run, you got to totally max it out, because there is just no guarantee you're going to just bring the band back and get it back together and get back there next year. The vibe's different. The mix is different. The personalities are different. The leadership is a little different. Like, every team has its own feel. And when you catch a heater, you got to ride it till the end. So that's the frustrating part. And now the mission for Freeman is you can't regress. You have got to find a way to thread the needle, maintain the momentum you gained, and find a way to get better. You can't stagnate or regress. And that's the next challenge for Freeman in this program.
No doubt. And, it's so interesting, because like, when you can see drop-offs, you can see them even on the TV screen watching a game, because it'll be within the interactions of the players. It'll be within the interactions of the coaching staff, as well as what's happening on the sideline during the game, especially not when things are going right, but when things are going wrong. That's when you can see and measure it, And when someone like this leaves the program, I feel like you can measure the impact that he had by looking at the relationships that were forged. And I just really believe that he had strong relationships in there. And football, in most ways, is the most ultimate team sport. Everyone's relying on one another, to ensure the success of the team. And therefore, by examining the relationships, whether both good or bad, strong or weak, we can see how that impact that someone can have. And I feel like Dylan McCullough was that perfect fit at this time with what we've seen. I mean, it's literally the three-headed monster that everybody's talking about, and the people that he was just recruiting not too long ago to come into the program, And so now we got some shoes to fill here, So it's one of those ones where when this dropped yesterday, I was like, wow. And to go back to what you were talking about earlier about, does it feel like this is just kind of the way the coaching carousel is nowadays, or the way that college football is? It sure seems like it, and money rules it. And I'll tell you, Chip Kelly wouldn't be going to the Raiders, right, unless they were paying him $6 million.
Yeah.
Right. That you're not going to get that as an offensive coordinator for the most part in college football. These other guys are moving all over the place. Chad, good old Chad, right, going out to USC. That was for cash. That was for the LA lifestyle. If he wants to go do all that, then go for it.
Hey,
right?
man, I hope he can surf.
It wasn't to go to a better program.
Freaking Spicoli. We got Spicoli over here. Whatever, man. He's such a Chad. Oh, he's so chatty that it's bothering me how Chad-like this Chad is.
Yeah, So I'll tell you that the GM thing is bothersome to me, because it's just like, come on, like the clock's ticking. We need to get that set. And now that you have another hole, it's kind of like for me, like if you're in a fire, right, and you're looking over, and next thing you know, you got a spot fire going on. Now you got to run over there and deal with it, So you start getting kind of spread thin. And I really hope, again, we have to go back to the trust that we have within Marcus Freeman. We have to go back to the idea that he is our leader. He's the tip of the spear, so to speak, and he's going to get the job done. He's going to bring people in. And not to mention, I try to remind myself that when the guy from Utah did not sign, well, look who we got, Dan Brock, right?
Yeah.
So it started getting, you know what I mean? Like, let's just see where that goes. But I will say that losing the running backs coach definitely was not the best thing to hear.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. That's been rumored for a while. Like there was talk of him interviewing for lower level head coaching jobs in college last offseason. Like we kind of knew he wasn't going to be there forever. It's just it wasn't on our radar with all the other stuff we were looking at, and then it pops up, and it's like, well, add this uncertainty to the list. So I don't know, man. I'm ready to get the troops together, know what we have, and then saddle up and get ready for spring ball. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for being a regular now. I'm enjoying our chats. Not Chads, not Chads, chats. Those are different things.
I'm definitely enjoying it too, my friend. And I guess, you were touching on the QB, and I just want to touch on it as well. As far as like, why would we not choose a dual threat quarterback or a quarterback that can run? And you started giving those bullet points, and I think it's spot on. Like if you're going to choose somebody who is more pocket throwing, not as much running, that person has got to be cerebral at the highest level.
Yeah.
That's got to be the person that you're sitting there thinking he's going to read the field. He's going to be able to go through his progressions and deliver the ball on a dime and be able to get it out quick.
Yeah.
And, but you still, again, with that team atmosphere, you have to have the offensive line to back them up. You have to have the wide receivers that can, get off their position.
Yeah, and a quarterback a quarterback who has a natural inclination for throwing to be a strength. You know what I mean? Like it can't be like, oh yeah, I guess he can do it, but like it's what he's known for and it comes natural to him and he has a gift for it. Like, so if you give me all that and Ohio State's wide receivers and a great offensive line, then I'll hear you out. Other than that, I like the flexibility of the mobility. Hey man, enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a good, relaxing weekend. And thanks for another good call.
You got it, John. Take care. Buddy.
Have a good one. I like those calls. Crystal clear. We're going to do Jay Carr. I got Andrew Gilmore and everybody else too. Couple of chats have come in, and then we'll go right back to the calls. Yeah, can we do a Tim Dillon? We could do a lot of stuff in the summer. We have all the time in the world. Look at this from the Chief Keith. I just expected this momentum to be harnessed better, and thus far it's been a fat L. Look at Sid Irish. 2025 has sucked for ND. I'm telling you, man, it's easy to say, oh, you lost a championship, we'll be back. Like, we'll just put the band back together. And then you see that it isn't. You got to max out. When you're on a run, you got to max out. And you could argue Notre Dame did max out, though. Like, you could argue that getting as far as we did with our limited roster and 87 guys injured, you could say that is maxing out. It's just frustrating to whatever. This is another angle on this. Josh Finn. Running back coaches around the country are salivating to get a call from Freeman. Tim Ide was talking about that in our text thread last night, saying, like, they should have their option of any good guy they want because Notre Dame's running back room and the program overall is kind of at a high as far as the stock goes. Like, who wouldn't want to get in on that? I don't know. Whoa, it's the big slow. If you're going to have top tier elite team, you're going to have to deal with players and coaches getting promotions and moving on. The thing is, just like Ohio State, Notre Dame has and will adapt. And listen, it's easy for you to say, well, you're eating Buckeye breakfast, Buckeyes for breakfast with the championship. I bet you it's real easy to sit there and go, yeah, I'm a lot open to our coaches leaving after we just won the trophy. Jay Carr, what's going on?
Hey, John. How you doing?
I don't know, man. I'm being weird today. I'm all worked up. I don't know what's gotten into me. I think them Buckeyes just holding them poisoned my brain or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat those. I just want to talk about Dylan and get my thoughts out and see if anyone, agrees, disagrees, what the consensus is.
Sure. What do you got?
So outside of the game day, so like him like managing the room, keeping all the egos in check, recruiting, all that kind of stuff. He was great for that. He was absolutely great for that. No shade whatsoever. However, during the game day, when you have a Heisman level running back, you can't sit him on the bench for 3 possessions in a row. Like half the games I'm sitting on the couch, like, is he injured? Like, why isn't he playing? And I get the point of, you're trying to rotate and keep guys fresh, but like you can play, like Price and Love can play like a same possession, get a couple carries, swap, get a couple carries, swap. It's hard to, stay in the flow of the game when you play the first possession and then you don't see the field until like late in the second quarter.
Dude, remember, I said that too. Like you got to get a guy juiced up a little bit. Like get him. Okay, but here's the pushback on this, man. Here's the pushback. When I've asked about the running back rotation and if there's ever any frustration from like Love of not getting enough chances to pop one or whatever, everybody I've talked to is like, this is the modern way running back rooms work, where whether it's college or the pros, you have a limited amount of carries you're going to get as a running back in your career, and that the guys actually respect the way those carries are divided up to maximize what everybody can do and not wear them into the ground. Like when I've specifically asked about this, I heard that it's not like looked at as a negative thing by those players. So I don't know whether people are just saying that or if that's really it. Because I think of it kind of like you do, but I've been told, no, they're all on a count because you have limited hits in you as a running back, and that's the way it goes. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't mind them rotating. I think the problem is when you play any sport, it's hard to play and then sit on the bench for 45 minutes and then come back in and, do the same thing. Like you have to. It's got to be somewhat consistent. So, like, I get rotating that, but, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is the way he did it, I didn't agree with. And I think it might not appear that way, but I thought it would be kind of detrimental because it's just hard to stay in the flow of a game when you don't play for 45 minutes.
Hey,
they always talk about, the defense was on the field for, remember when they talked about, the defense was on the field for 40 minutes, or the offense was on the sidelines, for 15 minutes, here they come. It's hard to get back in the flow when you don't play, when you go 3 and out, and then the other team's offense goes all the way down the field, and then the offense comes back out and goes 3 and out. The offense played, for 5 minutes, and then the defense is on the field for an hour. It's like it's hard to get in the flow when you're not on the field.
Yeah, I totally get it. I get it. And then here's the other thing we got to admit. I think as the year went on, Love was a lot more banged up than anybody let on. And I got to be open to the idea that later in the year, that was a big part of the deal. So I don't know the extent of that, but I'm open to understanding later in the year, he was not near 100%. It was more limited than what we probably knew.
Yeah, later in the year, he was definitely injured. And at that point, I think it was whatever. But even before, like leading up to USC, it was half the time it's like, well, where is the guy? He's not playing.
Yeah.
And I understand, people, you might get hurt. It's football. Like you might get hurt.
Yeah.
You got to accept that.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Maybe this changes. Maybe you have more of a lead dog now. Maybe, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, but it should be an appealing job. Should be an appealing job.
So on the replacement, that's an appealing job. So on the replacement, my thought is, unless you get like a top guy, you gotta coach for your job basically. Unless you're a top guy, so if you're coming in, even if you think of it kind of like Max Bola. He came in and with all that talent, he's like, I gotta produce. I gotta put the best guys on the field for the best situations. If I'm a running back coach and I come into that situation, I'm not rotating like 3, 4, 5 guys. Like I'm playing Love and Price, and that's about it. I'm playing my 2 best guys. because I'm trying to, get paid. And I'm trying to stay on the team and get a contract extension.
I like it.
I'm not trying to, I'm not making sure everybody's getting their touches. At that point, you're kind of looking out for yourself first, which I don't blame. You got to play the two best guys. And, Jabron Payne, got injured and he was Dielen's guy. I think he'll probably be the guy to hit the spring portal. If I had to, take a guess.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good point. People are saying you and your dad, you got to come to the spring game. You going to come? Let's go. Let's tailgate. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll see. We got to fly up. I don't know. We do have a mission. We got to go put my grandma's ashes back in the cemetery next to my grandpa. Because he's in, I think, near Elwood around there. So maybe we can plan that around springtime.
Yeah, the only problem is, man, the weather. So if you got to travel a lot or make flights for it, man, into that questionable weather, it's rough because you don't know what you're going to get. You got to pack for winter, spring, summer, and fall. You got to pack for everything, man. So we hope to see you there. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for the call.
I don't think so. Not really. I don't call. I don't call very often. So, I usually only call. I have like 1 or 2 points, and that's about it.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I think main point is I think the new running back coach. There's not going to be a rotation next year, and I think that's kind of going to be my takeaway. I would be shocked if they play 3. They're not playing 4. No way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And now I don't know. I don't even want to log on to Twitter and see the reaction to Blanchard, striking out on Blanchard. Like, dude, it just gets kind of exhausting with this stuff. Like, whatever. We'll deal with it. Hey, man, thanks a lot. Really appreciate all the support. You're always here for everything. I love you for it. Thanks a lot, man.
You got it. Take care.
Oh, I'm going to email you too, by the way. I got an idea, something. I'm going to email him. He hung up, but I'm sure he heard. Chad had the worst performing area of ND football by far. I got to admit, I thought Notre Dame recruiting would be well inside the top 10 every year in the Freeman era, and that has not happened, and Chad's a part of that. You got to figure out how to quit losing your top-rated guys. Whatever, man. Whatever. You can't be losing your top-rated guys. It's a major freaking problem. Rolling Coconut, $5 hour. John, can you win basement ping pong championships with melted Buckeyes all over your fingers? Well, they are delicious. More scent, my friend. Oh, man, I got to get back into the competitive table tennis world. It has been a long time. I got my green screens hanging over the table right now. I have not been practicing. I don't have the robot out spitting out 100 curveballs at me. I don't have it going. I got to get back into it. Jay Grizz says Chad Bowden is whispering in the Notre Dame's players' ears. You know what I have to say about that? Andrew, I'm coming to you. You know what I have to say about that? I know it's money. Like they would be offering big money to get the Notre Dame guys to go. I understand it's primarily about the money, and then to get in the LA weather and all that stuff. But here's my thought. If he's whispering in the ND players' ears, and any of these guys that have been on the Notre Dame side of this Notre Dame USC ledger, if they want to go or they're thinking about going or interested in going to USC, go. Like, it's such a different way of life. And the way you process the world from being in the Notre Dame ecosystem and then the LA and the USC ecosystem, it's like such like diametrically opposed thinking and ways of life and everything, man. So if you're talking to our guys and they're like, I don't know, maybe I want to go to USC, go to USC then, I guess. Whatever, man. Roger, Chad's talking to everybody in the country. Yeah, it just means more. 14 people come to your home games, but it just means more. Okay. Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say. All I could think of is Blanchard not leaving Texas Tech is the image of John's face doing this. When this show ends, I'm probably going to record a video about it and post it tomorrow. I really wanted it. I really wanted it. And now you got to come up with something else. But I got my eye on somebody totally different than Chad, doing it totally different than Chad, presents himself totally different than Chad, works the portal great. I wanted all that, man. Andrew, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, John? How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I'm in a weird mood today. I'm being kind of goofy. I don't know, man. This is a weird time of the year. I just kind of want things to be settled.
Yeah. Well, just starting with Blanchard and then on to Chad Bowden. I'm not too surprised that he turned it down. The guy's a Texas guy. Texas Tech has given him total control over the roster. I can't think a guy like Freeman, who prides himself as a recruiter, would ever do something like that. And I think that the tea leaves were there that it was going to be really, really hard to get him because his mentor in the business is Matt Rule, who's at Nebraska. And Matt Rule made a run at him twice to try to get him, and he didn't go to Nebraska. So, it would have been really cool if we got this guy because he knows how to recruit wide receivers, which is such a need for us. But it's not the end of the world. We'll go on and get somebody just as good.
Andrew, I think
put it out there.
I think it's really interesting because unlike with a lot of like coaching hires, I don't feel like a lot of people are that aware of like the people behind the scenes that would be open for this job. Do you get what I mean? It's not like Mike Denbrock where everybody kind of is aware of them. Like, I just wonder what that market looks like behind the scenes for this new age role. That's just kind of interesting.
I think it's really good.
I think that's interesting.
I think that Notre Dame has a pick of really good guys if they want it. I mean, Notre Dame is Notre Dame, John, and it's well known now that Notre Dame pays pretty well for NIL. So the prestige of being, the GM at Notre Dame, plus that the coffers are full with NIL, and you have a coach who just got an extension, so that gives you a little bit of job security. He's not a coach who's coaching on his first contract. He's just got his second contract, so there's no doubt that it's an attractive job. So I have no doubt that Freeman will find someone, qualified for the job.
Yeah. And the other thing is you better move on it, right? Like this has been a few weeks now. Like we got to kind of get going, don't we? With the plan here and all that infrastructure, however the new person's going to want to set things up, you kind of want to get it going, but you got to hire the right person. So take your time to figure it out, I guess.
That, but also, and that gets me to Chad Bowden. I kind of I want to chastise your chat a little bit. And the reason for it is I've been an original critic of Chad Bowden because two things on Chad Bowden I've always said to you is when he came in, there was one glaring weakness, our wide receiver room. I don't think he was responsible for getting any good wide receiver.
And then you're going to say, and then when he left, it was the same.
Well, of course. Yeah. I think the room, even though Greathouse had a breakout playoff, still a major question mark going into 2025.
That's accurate.
But then the second thing I would chastise your chat about is dude, every one of these guys were major Chad Bowden defenders. And so all of a sudden now you're turning on the guy just because he takes another job. It's be consistent a little bit.
Yeah, I do. I'll give you credit for that.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for that. And I think you have asked sometimes, like Chad gets all this credit. Shouldn't the recruiting be a couple notches better? You've been on that for a while. So yeah, you were an old G on that one.
And I think that Notre Dame in many ways recruits itself. We know that through what you say about Brian Kelly. I mean, Brian Kelly's just out golfing all the time and they're still putting guys into the NFL. So it just shows you that Notre Dame, there is something, despite Notre Dame maybe eliminating themselves because they don't take guys who can't, spell their names correctly on an SAT. They still can recruit top level guys, especially from private schools. So I don't see losing Chad as that big a deal because the word was that Chad was really good as a retail recruiter, person to person. Kids like talking to him. But when it came to his promotion to being the general manager and actually managing a roster and doing what NFL GMs have to do, the word was that he was in over his head. So I think that's what the new system's going to be with Freeman. He's going to hire a real money manager, talent evaluator, and then he's going to bring in a staff of people that are like Chad Bowden who can relate with these young guys. So it's rare that you're going to ever find a GM who can do both. So I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know where you turn. I don't know, man. It's everybody got into the Blanchard thing, and then it ran on, and then everybody does more research, and then you build it up about what a good fit it would be and how much and so then now you're just starting all that. Oh, it's just frustrating, but that's life, man. Welcome to modern football.
The other thing that I wonder about, and I suspect, unless Chad Bowden is just better at relationships than I think he is, I don't think he made any sense to be the GM at USC. Like, I think he made a lot more sense at Michigan than he did at USC, because think about in your lifetime when USC is really good at football. It was mostly under Pete Carroll, but if you look back to even like, the early 90s under Robinson, when they went to a couple of Rose Bowls and stuff like that, the lion's share of the team were really good prospects out of Southern California. I always put USC and Miami in sort of the same boat. Really, when they're really good, they put a fence around the best prospects in a 30 to 60 mile radius.
Yep.
And basically they get to pick whatever good prospects they want, and then everybody else can have what's left over. That's when USC is good. And one of the biggest failures of the Lincoln Riley era, shocking failure, is his inability to recruit Southern California.
Yep.
That Oregon can come into Southern California and do a better job recruiting.
Yep.
And so my question is, how does Chad Bowden correct that? Chad Bowden is a national recruiter. He has a handful of California recruits like KVA and Madden Faramo, but it's hardly this, who's who list of awesome, LA and San Diego and Orange County based recruits. I would have hired a guy who's entrenched there, a guy who really understands that marketplace, who knows all the high school football coaches there. That's how you solve your problem at USC. And that's why Miami spent so much money for Mario Cristobal, because that guy knows Miami football. So I don't think it's that great a hire. Maybe that guy will prove me wrong, but I think it was stupid.
That's interesting. And the fact that it was from Notre Dame to USC added fuel to the flames. Like, I just feel like that flamed this up of like, oh, you're leaving for the rival. And like, I don't feel like if he left for almost any other job other than probably Michigan or USC, the two he's been up for, it would be a little different. I feel that that's a part of it. Just the direct contradiction of all ways of life between Notre Dame and USC. It's ramping it up. So it'll be interesting to see where this turns next for Notre Dame. Anything else, Andrew? Thanks for touching base, buddy.
Yeah. I would just, I've been on the road the last couple of weeks. I haven't been able to really comment on a lot of stuff, but I think Notre Dame's schedule for 2025 is way tougher than what I'm seeing on Twitter. Like, for people to say that,
I'm seeing a lot of it, Andrew. I'm seeing a lot of, I am seeing a lot of, this should be a 12-0 schedule, blah, 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 from our people and the haters. I don't know, man. It's way harder than last year. It's no matter what you think of these teams, it's way harder than last year. And the front-loaded nature of it with some of the changes Notre Dame is undergoing is going to be a part of this story too.
Well, I think a lot of times you got to measure the schedule based off of how many Power 4 opponents you have.
Mm-hmm.
And like, when you factor in that Boise State is the best team, especially now that Barry Odom, and I want to talk about Barry Odom for a second. Barry Odom left UNLV, went to Purdue. And so I think that's important, and we should hit on that. But Boise, now that UNLV is sort of weakened, is by far the best of the non-Power 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's your non-Power 4 opponent. Look at their first 7 games. They essentially play all Power 4 opponents if you count Boise State.
Yep.
Which Boise State will consider that to be their Super Bowl when they come into South Bend. It will be like very much like the Cincinnati Notre Dame atmosphere.
And that is a program. That is a program that has been there, done that, slayed the giant. Like they're not going to be intimidated by that environment for 1 second. They'll be ready.
And then so-called easy games like at Arkansas, ask Tennessee, a playoff team, if playing at Arkansas is an easy game.
Yeah.
They got their butts kicked by Arkansas.
And all of it, Andrew, all of it's before Halloween. Miami, A&M, Arkansas, Boise, USC. That is all before you even buy Halloween candy, man. Like you got to get off to a good starter. It's going to be a frustrating year.
Totally. Yeah. And then even Purdue, which I think people just look at it and see, oh, we beat Purdue by 60 points last year. Purdue's going to be a way different team. They're going to go to the portal and have tons of new guys. And that guy, Barry Odom, he failed at Missouri, but it was very much because they just did not have their NIL together. Eli Drinkwitz really benefited from his failure. And then the boosters rallying together. The state passed a new law that legalized NIL and all this other stuff. So Barry Odom goes to UNLV and in 1 year makes UNLV, which was the doormat of the Mountain West, into a top, group of 5 team. He's going to be the coach at Purdue. I guarantee you they're going to have a much better offense. So I'm not saying they're going to lose to Purdue, but they were not last year's Purdue team. And then I just think it's laughable that a lot of ND fans look at Miami and think, oh, we're just going to go in there with a redshirt freshman quarterback who's never taken a real snap and just win that game. Traditionally, the city of Miami has been a house of horrors for Notre Dame. Notre Dame beating Penn State in the Orange Bowl was the first time in recent memory that Notre Dame has won a game in the city of Miami. So yeah, I think it's a much, much tougher schedule than people give it credit for. Not to mention that I think North Carolina State and USC are going to have bounce back years. And luckily we get them both at home, but I think those are tough games. So
yeah, man, I'm looking at that too. And in the front loaded nature of it with some of these big changes, you really got to have it figured out early.
And Elko's going to have the best. Elko's going to have the best defensive line in the country. Yeah. I know we think we're loaded at offensive line, but there's going to be a lot of new guys at new positions on the offensive line. Are they going to be gelled and ready to go for the second game of the year? So I think that schedule is really tough. So I'll just leave it at that. I think that Freeman's really got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's never a dull moment in Notre Dame land, Andrew. I've been saying it for years, and it proves correct every single week. There's always something. Man, it's never a dull moment. Andrew, have a good one, buddy. See if you can make it to the blue and gold game. People want to meet you after all these years. Bundle up and make it over there and have a drink with your boy. Come on, get over there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll try to make it happen, buddy.
All right, have a good one. We'll talk to you. I could tell Andrew's yeah, I'll try and make it happen, buddy. I'm not going to hang out with them. That's what he's thinking. He's telling me, oh, yeah, I'll see you there. But he's thinking, I don't want to hang out with John and Pat all day. You kidding me? Out of your mind? Sid Irish. But why did Marcus Freeman waste 3 weeks? Dude. He was trying to land Blanchard and entertain him and wine him and dine him and go over things and negotiate. You can't blame Freeman for trying to land the guy you wanted to land and massage the relationship. It's only a waste because now you know the guy's not coming. But if you heard that Freeman put in 3 weeks of work and landed the guy, it would be doing your due diligence. But since you didn't get him, it's a waste. I get that people are frustrated, but that's just taking a unnecessary shot. You're blaming Freeman for trying to wine and dine a guy he wants to work here. What do you want him to do? Have all of that discussion in one hour? Tex ND, he didn't even bring him to a hockey game. Yeah, he's not serious about a guy if he doesn't bring him to the hockey game. Look at how good that worked out. Man, we're having a little too much fun with the old buck nuts here. $10 holler from the coconut. Today's Always Irish podcast proudly brought to you by our friends at Anthony Thomas. A little chocolate, a little peanut butter. Buckeyes. OH. Oh, no. Ohionide. That is the key ingredient in there is ohionide. I do not want it. For those of you that have joined late, this showed up on my door yesterday or the day before, whatever. I don't appreciate it. Not one bit. 559 up on the line. I got a couple more calls. We'll get to you. What up, baby?
What's up, John? How's it going, guys?
It's okay, man. There's just a lot of moving parts, man. I'm trying to just keep my head on straight.
So I watched something last night, and I saw the 150 America's game ESPN special about Notre Dame. and how Luke Rockne, Frank Leahy, Aaron Parsons, and all these great coaches end up getting burned out because of the stress that Notre Dame puts on their coaches.
Yep, that's a real thing. It took decades, literally took decades off Frank Leahy's life. And that's why I love Frank so much. Loving Notre Dame took decades off the man's life, and I love him.
And then the thing is that we're being spoiled right now, man. We finally have a coach. We finally have things going for us, and we don't even know how to act. That's what pisses me off. You know, it's like, what else do you want Marcus Freeman to do? He's doing his due diligence, he's going out there, trying to go after the best. You're not going to get them all. And all of a sudden, we want to act like the prima donnas and all this stuff. That pisses me off. You know what I mean? Because you know what? We have a coach that cares about university. And what I said, we need to figure out a way so he can have a work-life balance. And unfortunately, you're in a piece that there is nothing like that right now. You got to grind it out. Well, you know what? Well, guess what? Blanchard couldn't come. All right, move on to the next. He ain't the only one. He's not the only one left. There's more out there. And there's coaches that want to come to Notre Dame. So you know what? Shut up with that. Man up and put your chest up out there and put some faith behind Notre Dame's name and drop your balls. All right? It's time for us to go out there and show everybody that we got what we got and we will get whoever the hell we want to get if it's a fit. All right? Blanchard has his reason. All right, move on. Let's go show what Notre Dame's about. That's what I'm upset about, John. Excuse me.
Yeah, I just think some of this is, you're just in a weird situation, man. You had a really successful year with a lot of good things, but everybody has a very bitter taste in their mouth about how it finished. And then you're like, we'll just bring the band back and get it back together. But now, guys are leaving and you got to string it together. And there's just some uncertainty here. It's just kind of a weird vibe right now. Not good, not awful, just a weird vibe right now. That's where I'm at, in this weird in-between spot, man.
John, welcome to the big league, my boy.
Yeah.
This is big time now, bruh. And this ain't going to be easy. Now, people are going to stop coaching our coaches when we have success. They're going to come after our guys. We're Notre Dame. And remember that. Shit. Man, we got who we got. We are who we are. And we are Notre Dame. And start respecting this. You know what? They're going to come after our coaches. They're going to come after our players. We need to figure out how to make this a work-life balance, and therefore our coaches extract a place that doesn't want to leave. And second of all, you know what? The NFL is going to come after our coaches all the time. Because why? There's a better life in the NFL than there is in college. Until we find a way, or the NCAA, or whatever the hell, Congress, or whoever wants to get involved and finally put a stop to certain things. They're right. It is what it is. You want to put a cap? Put a cap. You want to give them one? Give them one. Figure it out. If until then, we got to roll with the beast. Roll with the punches. You know what? But we're Notre Dame. We can fight back. And we can stand up and go everything with it.
Yeah, man. I'm with you. I like the energy. I like the enthusiasm. Notre Dame's still in a good place. The stock is high as far as people that should want to be a part of this program when it comes to attracting coaches or GM. Like, the program's doing a good job, so it should be appealing. And I guess you got to just have faith that Marcus Freeman's going to figure it out and hire the right people. I don't know any other way to look at it.
Yeah. But, John, sometimes I hate because I'm a host and I can talk a lot more. And right now it's starting to get to that point where I got to start getting my guys set up. But I want to leave with this, and I apologize for me have to rush you now. But you know what? We're Notre Dame, my boy. Yeah. We are who we are because we're starting to have what we want to have. And you know what? It's time to start acting like we've been here, done that before. So don't be acting like we don't know what's going on. You know damn well what's going on. It's game time, my boys. Let's get right. Mentally, physically, and emotionally. You know what? It's time to get our chest up and start working out with our team, and exercising and jogging and everything. Because you know what? It's a long season, guys. And you know what? This season don't stop. It never stops at Notre Dame. You should know that by now. And if you don't, then you don't belong in being a fan. You know what? Either you love Notre Dame, you ride or die with Notre Dame, or you don't. That's the way I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to rock with my team regardless. And I'm going to rock with Marcus Freeman as long as he's our head coach. And even after that, I will still rock with Notre Dame.
I got to tell you, dude, it means the world to me that you call and stay on hold even when you're at work, man. I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, John. I'm sorry, man. I got to rush out. I can't wait.
No, that's good.
I'm really gonna pop off on some of these guys that over here don't know how to act. And that's like some prima donnas. Like, oh my God, that's right, God damn it. Throw some balls, man. That's right. We're Notre Dame. I've been here before. Stop crying like a little girl. And we ain't no Boy Scouts anymore, my boy. We are some real MS. You know what? F around and find out with Notre Dame players and coaches and everybody. We need you to step it up.
Oh, man.
I gotta go.
Have a good one. All right. He does all that and he gets all riveted. All right. Got to go. Oh, man. That's so funny. Oh, that's funny. Couple more calls we're going to get to you, and that'll probably wrap up the show here. Hate rap. Here's my thing with the hip hop, man. I think I'm getting old to where I only like the music that I grew up with. I just think I only like the music I grew up with. And I don't understand. Back in the old days, Snoop Dogg would have a song and I would listen to it and I could understand the words he was saying. Tupac would have a song. I could understand the words he was saying. I can't even understand the words they're saying now. It's just a big bass beat. You can't understand a word they're saying. It's called mumble rap is the genre. It's just a big bass beat and mumbling. You can't even understand what they're saying. Back in the day, I at least knew the words of what they were talking about. I don't get it. 832, what's going on? Welcome to the show. 832, I'm trying to talk to you.
Oh, John.
What's going on?
I'm also at work.
Oh, man. Dude, I appreciate the dedication of everybody that is eschewing their job duties to call the show. I love it.
So much more important than work.
Yeah, priorities, my friend, the key to life. What's going on, man? It's been a while since you called. Looks like a first of the year or something. So what's going on?
Man, not much. I feel like we're talking a lot about, and I mean, it's important, but I feel like we're talking a lot about the coaching staff and just like who we got off the field,
Yeah.
But, I like a lot of the guys that we got coming back that are going to be on the field, and is there another transfer opening?
I believe
the season starts?
I believe the next window opens right after the blue and gold game. And I think that may have been a part of the scheduling of it because you have Easter the following weekend. But I think there's that portal window that opened and you kind of want to be able to navigate that in and out. So I think there's one right after the blue and gold game.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned Jabron Payne is like one of Dielen's guys, and I mean that sucks to see Dielen go, but it is at least going to the league, so not going to another college program.
You know what? I didn't even really
guys are going to go.
I didn't even really think of it that way. That's a good point. But here's my thing with this. The portal opens the 16th of April. So it'll be the following week of the blue and gold game. And then I believe Easter's the weekend of the 19th. I was not shocked by this, man. I was not shocked by this news because I've been hearing for a couple years now that Dielen was up for head coaching jobs, interviewed for a couple last year and didn't get them for lower level head coaching jobs, like not at like a top elite program, but like a lower. So it doesn't surprise me because that was already out there, but it's just one more thing to add to the list. And now you add the GM thing on here and you're like, what are we doing? Like, who are we with?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Me personally, I'm not tremendous. I mean, I know it's important, but I'm not tremendously worried about the GM position.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I think Marcus is going to find somebody good. And I think that, 2 games into the season, I think we'll be forgetting a little bit about the GM hysteria.
Yeah, I think my issue is I bought into the Blanchard thing and I did my research and I read what people were saying about him. I look at it when he does interviews on YouTube and they interview him about all the, and so then I started getting excited about what he brings to the table that's different than what we had. And now you're just kind of and now you're like, okay, now we're starting from scratch again. I hope Freeman has a good backup plan. It's just not ideal.
Yeah, and with Blanchard, I'm in Texas, so I was starting to get pretty excited about we got some Texas guys on our team that are, I mean, Jaden Greathouse obviously, but then K Young, I'm pretty sure he's from Texas, and I think Price might be from Texas too.
Yeah, it's just so I don't know, man. I don't know, and I don't know the GM market. None of us do, like the way assistant and head coaches. So I don't know where you pivot. But I liked what I saw from Blanchard because it seemed and felt and looked so differently than the way Chad operated. And I just think if you're going to mix this up now's the time to do it. When the program's kind of at a pretty good point and you've had some success, and now you want to build on it. Finding a different vision for that GM role was appealing to me. And now I just don't know where you go and what the names are. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but I did want to just kind of like mention a couple players that I'm pretty excited for next season.
Please do.
Some guys that I just thought
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. They're just something out there. Well, I mean, Bryce is crazy on special teams.
Yeah.
And I love
that's a 3-year guy. Don't you agree? I think that's a 3-year guy. He was out there as a freshman. I think the way he's developing, you better get everything on him because I think he's 3 in the NFL. He's that type of athlete. So you better use him while you can. Put him to work. I need 2 or 3 more. And then some big ins in the inside too.
So I got one offensive guy and then two defensive guys that I just wanted to mention that I'm pretty excited about. I think with the running back rotation and like the unknown with the running backs coach, I think it's going to be pretty difficult to keep Aeneas Williams off the field. I thought he stepped up pretty huge at the beginning of the playoffs, and then one of my favorite plays this whole season was that his little logo route where they put Penn State put their linebacker out on him and he just opened it up. And then I think he had a pretty intense run right after that catch for 5 or 6 yards. But I think that guy does really good in pass protection, and I think he thumps. I think he hits real hard.
Yeah, it's
and then on defense, I just think that a John Schuler is going to come back strong. I think that he might be a little disappointed in some of his play. In the Penn State game, and then in the Ohio State game, I think he had a pass interference in the Penn State game that I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but I think that he's gonna step up a lot with Watt going to the NFL. And then Drake Bowen. I think that guy plays angry. And his punch out.
I think that whole linebacker group is going to be exciting next year. Yeah. You got young, talented guys all over coming into their own, and they're athletic. I'm really excited about that. Good call.
There's so many, and you forget about, when you're going through the list, you can't, it feels like you don't have enough spots for them, but I think we'll get them all on the field. And I think that our defense is going to continue to be elite in the next season.
Yeah, it's that's a big deal too. The Ash thing seems like it was years ago. Now that you're on to Dealin and you're on to this GM thing, like that's another big storyline in spring, along with the quarterback dynamic, is going to be what's going to happen with that situation on the defense. Because again, no one's open to any regression. You did not win the championship. It's got to be onward and upward. Nobody wants stagnation. No one wants regression. No, you can't regress quicker than my hairline during the Kelly era. Nobody's here for that.
Yeah, John, it's just forward from here, and let's win a national championship.
Oh, man, that's the idea, my friend. Anything else? Thanks for the call on a Friday. Enjoy the Super Bowl and the weekend, man.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, I mean, I will touch on like the coaching staff a little bit. I really do hope that, I think I heard maybe Mike Singer say it, that with Chris Ash, he has like a pretty good turnaround on his job. He's not at a spot for too long. I really hope that he could be kind of like a mentor to like a defensive coordinator position for Mickens. And I'm hoping that Mike Mickens is just, he's got the job lined up, but maybe they want him to get a little bit more experience with a true coordinator position. And maybe Chris Ash is the kind of guy that can, do his 2 years here, go on to something else, and then we can elevate Mike Mickens, which I think
it's interesting.
The majority of the fan base wanted Mike Mickens to be the DC. I think that comes a lot from the vibe of Marcus Freeman, where it's like he was elevated from within. Oh, that kind of I thought of this the other day. This is a little interesting. When you think about these programs, Notre Dame, LSU, Oklahoma, and USC, all four of those programs had head coaching shakeups, and I think that it is a surprise that Notre Dame is undoubtedly the most promising program since that coaching change. And I don't think that most people would have bet on Notre Dame when Kelly goes to LSU, Lincoln Riley goes to, I think that
that's a good point. When you do the year 3 comparison at those big time jobs, you're right. It's hard not to argue Notre Dame and Freeman have had the most success. Yeah, I get you.
I mean, Oklahoma fans are not super hyped up on Brent Venables, and I mean, I don't know who is still lining themselves in Baton Rouge to like LSU or Brian Kelly, but I think that we won that coaching carousel, and I think that we're going to continue to be a top tier program until Marcus Freeman gets burnt out. But I think he's got a lot of years left in him, and I think he really loves being the head coach of Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he ends up doing in his career. Is there any burnout the way he flies so hard all the time, like into the work? And it's going to be interesting. Just win the big one here, and then you could go do something else. I'll be open to it. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate you, John.
Yep, have a good one. Thanks for the call. Oh man. I don't know. You guys are funny. Yeah, I still don't know about the tailgate game. I always try and do it earlier in the year to keep the weather warm. And I always see Eric. Thanks for being here, man. I figure how many losses could we have if you do it the second or third game of the year? Like, I want to do it where there's no chance Notre Dame has multiple losses to where there's no energy. So I always want to do it earlier in the year for warm weather and to not we're already dead and you're walking around laying in your own casket. Son of a buck. 949. What's going on, man?
I was poking around the internet and I found a couple of things that I thought, you know what, John should be alerted of this.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm scared to know.
Well, the first one is Beano Cook says Ron Paulus is going to win 3 Heisman trophies before he leaves Notre Dame.
I do remember that. I remember Grandpa Kennedy talking about it when that hit. I remember old Beano.
And Ron Paulus hasn't left Notre Dame, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
The second thing is, and it's just a rumor, I haven't confirmed it, so I thought I'd check with you, but it said that you're changing your name to Chad?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, man. It has a great ring. It has a great ring to it. Chad Kennedy there. Yeah. Who needs the famous name? I'm gonna go back to being a Chad. It just means more, man. Did you know that at USC it just means more? That's why 14 people go to every game, because it just means more.
Well, the guy couldn't produce a top 10 class. Before Marcus became head coach, we had a couple, and it's largely because of Marcus. Chad took us backwards. Secondly, he couldn't close on a 5-star. We had one 5-star come in his entirety, and it wasn't because of him. He had nothing to do with that. The general manager in college football is the equivalent of being the assistant lunch lady, unless you produce. And then it's like being the lunch lady when there's Salisbury steak, tater tots, or pizza.
Yeah,
And, unless we get like a Brady Quinn or a Jerome Bettis at that position.
Because see, what is the biggest skill set? I've been wondering this. What is the biggest skill
Tater
set?
tots on the plate.
Yeah, I know how you guys like it extra sloppy. I made the sloppy joes extra sloppy for you. You're scaring us, lady. I'm just asking, is it managing NIL money? Is it actually recruiting? Is it negotiating? Like, is it evaluation? Is it organization, like building out an infrastructure and then having people underneath you? Like, I don't even honestly act like I know what the single most important duty of that role is. Like, I don't know, because it encompasses so many different parts of the modern game. I'm not even sure I'm clear on what way you go. Do you go with an expert money manager guy for NIL, or does it need to be a recruiting based evaluator? Like, I don't even have a clear answer on that. I'm being honest there. I don't know what the biggest job requirement is, even. They're most important.
I'm the same way. I don't know. I really don't care. And as far as I'm concerned, is Chad was the lunch lady that had a mole with hair in it.
Yeah. Well, whatever, man. He's going to Surf Town now, so whatever. And then I got my heart and mind around Blanchard and talk myself into loving that. And then now it looks like it's not happening, and Marcus Freeman's got to go another direction. Who knows, though? Maybe he'll pull out something that is a little surprise in a good way. I don't know, man.
Well, what I saw was that this is on the running back coach side of things, that two names that were pretty intriguing, and it was in a Sports Illustrated online article. One is the assistant or the running backs coach at Penn State, and the other was the head coach in Northern Illinois. And it made a good case for both. And
you mean the guy? You mean the guy that taught Marcus how to not lose games after they lost? The guy that said, "I'll give him some pointers" and all of that.
Hey, if you can't beat them, let them join you.
Yeah, and apparently the funny part of that is, after that came out, that guy was like, I talked to Freeman about how you got to do what. We didn't lose a game again for like 3 months. So maybe the guy was right after all with whatever he said.
Exactly.
Because we won 13 games in a row after it. So I crap on him kind of big time in Marcus in a way, but maybe what he said actually worked, because we didn't lose forever.
Well, he meant it in a sincere way, and I heard his interview, and he talked about how he had always loved the program. He really was fond of it. He said, "We're not going to face him again, so why not help him? I love the program, and I like the guy."
Yeah, and dude, the funny part is they didn't even end up having a good year. Like, the talk when we lost to them was like, maybe they could be the non-Power 5 team that makes the playoff or whatever. Dude, they didn't even have a good year, man. It's just magic in a bottle, and you beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Congratulations, ruined John's life. Good for you.
And life goes on.
Yeah, it went on. We had a good run. Man, doesn't that seem like it was 3 seasons ago? Look at how long ago. That feels like it was forever ago. Look at all that we've been through with Notre Dame. That feels like it was ages ago.
It does. And then you got about 200 days until kickoff for the next. So that's pretty exciting. That's what I'm looking forward to. We just got to bide the time, and, we got to get through what Alabama Jones called was talking season.
Yeah. Alabama Jones. Yeah. I'm ready to get to spring ball. I want to know who's in our camp, who's going to war with us, get everybody ready. And I'm ready to turn the page. I want this team to have a little attitude, a chip on their shoulder in spring ball. Like we got close, but we didn't get the ultimate goal. It isn't good enough. I want to feel that edge from them, that they want to get back at it and get on the grind, man. Hey, thanks for calling. Anything else? Enjoy the Super Bowl.
I'm not that, I'm looking forward to the guacamole and the food.
Yeah.
I don't care about the teams, although I'm going to cheer for our Notre Dame boys. We've got 3 of them, and I placed a little bet on Drew Tranquil on number of tackles, and I hope he shines, and wish him all the best. But 205 days until kickoff. God bless you. God bless everybody, and go Irish.
Oh, have a good one, man. Thank you very much. God bless you as well. God bless you as well. All right. That's all I have time for on the calls. I'll finish with my Brian Kelly piece. I got a sick kid upstairs. Got to go to the doctor. She's fevered out, hot. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, number one is he mentioned he's looking forward to the guacamole. Are you outside your mind? Guacamole even sounds like it doesn't taste good. Like if you could be like, John, name something that just sounds like you wouldn't want to eat it. Guacamole would definitely be one of those things. Who came up with that name? Sounds like what you would call a barf meal. Guacamole. What are you talking about? And there's chunks of stuff in it, and it's kind of slimy. It looks like barf and boogers. I don't understand. I do not understand I don't understand guacamole. I can't understand it. Even the word itself makes me want to barf. Guacamole, it just sounds horrific. Chunks in there, all sorts of stuff. Disgusting. Here's my take on the Brian Kelly thing on the way out. Somebody isn't exactly telling the truth. Somebody isn't exactly being honest with this situation. And I'm not sure whether it is Freeman really he has a reputation of once you're done playing for him, if you're not in like this very rare circle, you don't matter to him. Didn't even invite the former players back for blue and gold or anything in Notre Dame. Like he has that history. But this is pretty bad. So somebody's not exactly telling the truth. And now Kelly's either trying to cover for himself and now it's legal and he can't say that much. Or maybe this guy's family was really just looking to nail LSU and just get a bunch of money and make it a nightmare. Okay. But here's the bottom line. Somebody's not exactly telling the truth. This is the big takeaway. Andrew Gilmore's right. This is exactly what I was going to say, Andrew. The damage is done, though, on Kelly. Getting called out on Good Morning America is not good. That is my overall takeaway, Andrew. I was going to say the fact that you ended up in a position where you need to go and say that one of your former players that maybe had cancer and was almost dying and that their family is lying on you. The fact that you found yourself in the position to have a press conference to basically say this kid with cancer's family is lying, that alone is a loss. Like, that's my overall takeaway. I don't know who's lying or not. Somebody's clearly not being truthful here to the full extent. I don't know which it is. My overall takeaway is, though, if you even find yourself in this situation, you've already lost. To where you feel forced to have to go say a kid with cancer's family's lying about you. You've already lost if you get to that point. As far as who's telling the truth or not, I have no idea. But I do know this. Brian Kelly does not have a pristine record regarding off-season very serious things and how we navigate it. Brian Kelly does not have a very good record there. If you know what I'm talking about, there's a couple names that come to mind. Not a great record in terms of properly handling serious off-field stuff. So the track record there doesn't help Kelly. But the overall point is you already lost regardless if it was a line, to find yourself in this position is a huge loss. Like literally, he had to go up there and say this kid who has cancer may be dying, and the family is lying about. Like, even if you're telling the truth, you ended up in a bad spot on that one. But you know what? None of it's our problem anymore. And if Kelly isn't coaching your team, you hate him. And if he is coaching your team, half the fans hate him. So it's their problem, but it's just another Good Morning America. It wasn't even on a football show, man. It wasn't even on a football show. It was a bad look. So somebody's not telling the truth. But the fact that that's the situation you're in is already a loss no matter what. Think about it. The best thing Kelly could do is say the family of this kid with cancer is lying. Like, that's the best case outcome for him. That's a bad spot to be. So I don't know who's telling the truth or not, but a bunch of people don't like Brian. Nobody likes Brian Kelly unless he's coaching for you. So it's just another thing that you can, it's just another thing for people to hold against him. So I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, you guys. This was really fun, man. Good energy, good fun there with the Buckeyes. We had a little fun. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the chats. I think me and Goolsby are going to record some for Patreon and later on today. And then I got something for tomorrow too. What's for dinner? I haven't even thought that far yet. That's a good question. I haven't even thought that far. All right, you guys. Thanks for everything. Thanks for being here. Love you guys. Have a good one. Enjoy the Super Bowl.